With winter fast approaching and snowstorms predicted, it's important to consider ways to protect your plants and crops from the colder conditions. Imagine waking up on a cold morning to discover that your greenhouse has turned into a frozen wasteland. The power's been out for hours, and without heat, your crops, months of hard work, are now withered and lifeless. All that effort gone in the blink of an eye. So, how do you protect your crops from winter's worst? The answer lies in a time-tested method straight from the Amish way of life. While we're out here Googling the best ways to insulate a greenhouse, they're busy cutting wood and figuring out how to heat a space with nothing but the sun, some compost, and maybe a few natural materials you wouldn't expect. What's impressive is not just that they do it, but how they do it. Buckle up, or harness up if we're staying true to Amish tradition, because we're about to explore how these farmers work with nature, and not against it, to keep their crops thriving when the weather outside looks more like a freezer than a field. Let's get right into it. According to the Amish, when you're trying to heat a greenhouse without electricity, your best bet is to go for the original, tried and true heat source, the sun. No monthly bill, no wires, and it's been warming things up for billions of years, so it's got some pretty solid street cred. The Amish know this well, and they've perfected the art of getting the most out of our big, glowing ball of fire in the sky. First things first, you need to learn about placement. The Amish don't just plop their greenhouses down wherever they feel like it. No, sir. They've got a strategy. They know the sun rises in the east and sets in the west, so they orient their greenhouses to face the southern sky, maximizing the amount of sunlight that can pour in during the day. This is called passive solar heating, which basically means using the sun's energy without any extra help from fancy machines. And this is what you should be doing, too. Now, I know what you're thinking. Sure, the sun's great, but what about when it's the middle of winter and daylight lasts about as long as a TV commercial break? That's where greenhouse design comes in. The Amish don't just rely on direct sunlight. They build their greenhouses with materials that trap and hold heat. Think of it like wearing a good winter coat. Once you've warmed up, that coat keeps you toasty for hours, even after the heat source, in this case, the sun, has checked out for the day. Most Amish greenhouses are made from materials like glass or clear plastic, which allows sunlight to stream in during the day. The sun's rays hit the ground, the plants, the pots, anything in the greenhouse, and all that stuff starts to absorb heat. It's kind of like when you leave your car parked in the sun, and when you get back inside, it feels like you've just opened the door to a sauna. That's exactly what the Amish are going for, minus the sweaty seatbelt. Greenhouses designed with passive solar heating can reduce heating costs by up to 50%, even in colder climates. That's right, half the cost, just by putting your greenhouse in the right spot and using the right materials. Now, if only finding a good deal on car insurance was that simple. When designing your greenhouse, try to make the most out of the sunlight you can get, just like the Amish. They often add features like angled roofs to catch more rays, or double-layered walls to trap heat like a warm thermos. It's like they're turning their greenhouse into a sun-powered oven. This is a trick that's bound to make sure your veggies get more sun than the average office worker in winter. Now, don't think it's all about sunny days and warm afternoons. Even on cloudy days, Amish greenhouses are designed to pull in what little light there is and make it count. The thing is, you don't need full sun to keep things warm. Just a little bit goes a long way when you've built your greenhouse to take advantage of every photon that comes through. It's like squeezing every last drop out of a tube of toothpaste. The Amish have got it down to a science. So, next time you see the sun peeking through the clouds, think like the Amish and ask yourself, how can I make this thing work for me? The answer? Build smarter, not harder. And wear sunscreen. Always wear sunscreen. Next up in being smart and efficient like the Amish when it comes to heating up your greenhouses, without the need for electricity, lies in mastering thermal mass. Now, I know that sounds a bit too much like something from your high school physics class, but stick with me. This is one of the coolest tricks the Amish use to keep their greenhouses warm without ever flipping a switch. And I promise, there's no test at the end. So, what exactly is thermal mass? In simple terms, it's when you use materials like water, stone, or bricks to absorb heat during the day, then slowly release that heat at night when things get chilly. Imagine it like the world's most patient heating system. It's a bit like baking cookies. You preheat the oven, and long after the oven's off, the kitchen still feels nice and warm. Not to mention smells amazing. Well, except this time, it's your greenhouse that stays warm. And no, sadly, there aren't any cookies involved. The Amish are pros at this. Just like them, you can fill your greenhouses with materials that store up heat like squirrels storing nuts for winter. Stone floors, walls made of brick, and even big barrels of water all act like little solar-powered batteries. During the day, the sun shines in, and these materials soak up all that lovely warmth. When the temperature drops at night, they start releasing the heat, keeping the plants cozy even when it's freezing outside. It's kind of like giving your greenhouse a heated blanket, but one that doesn't need to be plugged in. Here's a little Amish secret. Water is one of the best materials for thermal mass. It has a high heat capacity, which is just a fancy way of saying it can absorb a ton of heat without getting too hot too fast. You can learn something from the Amish farmers, and make sure to line the walls of your greenhouse with barrels of water to maximize this effect. Think of them like mini heat reservoirs. A 55-gallon water barrel can hold enough heat to keep a small greenhouse warm through a chilly night. That's some pretty good mileage for something as simple as water. It's not just water. You can also make use of heavy materials like stone or brick, which absorb heat from the sun during the day and release it slowly overnight. If you ever walk into an Amish greenhouse, you'll likely see stone pathways or thick, dark bricks lining the walls. It's not just for looks, either. Those materials are doing some serious work behind the scenes, keeping the temperature steady like the reliable grandpa of greenhouse heating. Did you know that for every square foot of thermal mass in a greenhouse, you can reduce the need for extra heating by up to 15% just by adding a little bit of stone or a few barrels of water? In a world where heating bills can run as high as the electric company's Christmas bonuses, that's some seriously good news. However, one thing you have to keep in mind is that it's not just about tossing in any old materials. The key to thermal mass, as said earlier on, is using materials that can absorb a lot of heat during the day and release it slowly at night. Dark-colored materials work best because they absorb more sunlight, kind of like how your black t-shirt feels 10 times hotter than your white one on a sunny day. So, like the Amish, it's best to opt for dark stones, bricks, or even large dark clay pots. These not only look great in a greenhouse, but do double duty by helping to regulate the temperature. Thermal mass is like that one friend who's always cold and keeps every blanket in the house, but then ends up warming the whole room. You're annoyed at first, but then you realize you're all benefiting from their blanket hoarding. It's the same with these stones and water barrels. They take all the heat during the day, but they're generous enough to share it with everyone later. So, next time you're thinking about heating your greenhouse, let your stones and water do the work. It's efficient, eco-friendly, and most importantly, it works. Another one of the Amish community's more natural heating solutions is compost. Now, if you're picturing piles of smelly, decomposing vegetables, hold that thought. When done correctly, composting can be a surprisingly effective and sustainable way to generate heat. And the best part? It's the ultimate example of recycling. I mean, what could be better than turning last week's potato peels into next week's greenhouse heater? Composting works because of a process called decomposition. When organic materials like food scraps, leaves, and manure break down, they release heat. It's like a tiny bonfire happening inside your compost pile. Only this one doesn't require kindling. In fact, a well-maintained compost pile can reach temperatures of up to 160 degrees Fahrenheit. That's hotter than your average cup of tea. The Amish figured out that if you place compost piles strategically around or even inside a greenhouse, the heat from decomposition will keep the greenhouse warm, especially through those chilly nights. Now, here's the trick. You can't just dump any old thing into a pile and expect it to heat your greenhouse. Composting is a delicate balance, and the Amish have this down to an art. The right mix of greens, like kitchen scraps and grass clippings, and browns, like dried leaves and straw, creates the perfect environment for microbes to start breaking things down. The heat is generated as these little guys get to work, and it can be used to keep the inside of the greenhouse at a steady temperature. It's kind of like having a bunch of tiny workers tirelessly churning out warmth day and night. One key composting technique you can learn from the Amish is placing compost piles along the perimeter of the greenhouse. Think of these piles like a natural heat barrier. As the material breaks down, the warmth seeps into the greenhouse walls and keeps the space from getting too cold. You can go a step further and actually build compost bins within your greenhouse. That way, your plants get the added bonus of being directly warmed by the process, almost like having a heater built right into the room. And don't worry about the smell. If your compost pile is giving off an odor, something's not quite right. A properly managed compost pile should smell earthy, not like a garbage dump. Trust me, you don't want to walk into your greenhouse and be greeted by the scent of rotting food. To keep things sweet-smelling, you need to turn the pile regularly, which keeps it aerated and helps the decomposition process along. The Amish make this a regular part of their greenhouse routine. Compost piles aren't just for heating greenhouses. Some enterprising folks have even used compost to heat water for showers or to warm up outdoor spaces. And if you're really looking to impress your neighbors, you can tell them your plants are heated by, well, vegetable scraps. Whether you're a die-hard gardener or just someone who wants to make the most out of your food waste, composting is a great way to heat your greenhouse. It gives you the added bonus of rich, nutrient-packed soil to use when the compost is fully broken down. It's a win-win. Warm plants and a natural fertilizer, all courtesy of Mother Nature. Plus, doing this gives you a great conversation starter. Did I mention my greenhouse is heated by cow manure? Let's face it. No one likes a cold draft. Not even your plants. The Amish know this all too well, which is why windbreaks and insulation are key players in their greenhouse heating strategy. And the technique is something you should steal. If you've ever been in an old house on a windy night, you know how a draft can cut right through you. Well, the same goes for greenhouses. Keeping the cold air out is just as important as keeping the heat in. Windbreaks are the Amish's first line of defense. They don't rely on fancy electric heaters to battle the wind. They use nature itself. Trees, shrubs, and hedges are planted around their greenhouses to block those icy gusts. It's like building a natural fence out of greenery. Only this one does double duty, providing protection from the wind while also beautifying the landscape. If you're thinking, can a bunch of trees really make that big of a difference? The answer is a resounding yes. Studies have shown that a well-placed windbreak can reduce wind speed by up to 50%, which significantly lowers heat loss in a greenhouse. That's a big deal when you're trying to keep a delicate balance of warmth in a space that relies on passive methods to stay cozy. Plus, a windbreak can create a microclimate where the temperature around the greenhouse is a bit higher than in open areas. It's like giving your plants a warm blanket of protection from the harsh winter winds. Now, windbreaks are just the beginning. The next step is insulation. And boy, you can have this down to a science if you follow how the Amish do. In the winter, you can stuff straw bales around the base of your greenhouses to create a natural insulating barrier. Straw might not sound high-tech, but it works wonders at keeping the cold out and the heat in. The air pockets in straw make it an excellent insulator. And when you stack those bales along the walls of your greenhouse, you've essentially built a fortress against the cold. It's cheap, easy, and you can even compost the straw when winter's over. talk about multi-purpose. In terms of quantity, a row of straw bales around the perimeter of your greenhouse is usually enough to provide decent insulation. Just make sure they're packed tightly. Air gaps are like leaving the front door open in January. For extra insulation, you can make use of wool or even old blankets to cover areas that lose heat quickly, like some Amish farmers. One of the oldest tricks in the book is lining the inside of your greenhouse with plastic sheeting. While plastic might not seem very Amish, it's actually a common and practical material in their greenhouses. You'll find clear plastic stretched over frames or double layers of plastic to create an air pocket, which keeps the heat trapped inside. Kind of like a makeshift thermos. If you've ever used bubble wrap on your windows in winter, it's a similar concept. Here's where it gets even more clever. Dark-colored materials. It's been established that the Amish often use dark surfaces or walls inside the greenhouse to absorb more sunlight during the day. When the sun goes down, those dark surfaces release the heat back into the air. So, while you might be wearing 5 layers of clothes to stay warm, your greenhouse is getting by just fine with a smart setup of windbreaks, insulation, and heat-absorbing materials. Who wouldn't want a windbreak of trees that doubles as a natural fence or cozy straw-insulated fortress? It's like nature's own home improvement system, complete with free heating. Next time you're battling a cold draft in your home, plant a tree, insulate with some straw, and let nature keep things toasty. It's a strategy that's been working for generations, and it doesn't involve a single watt of electricity. When it comes to keeping a greenhouse productive through the colder months, the Amish don't just rely on fancy heating tricks or compost piles. Sometimes the smartest move is choosing the right crops, ones that laugh in the face of winter's icy grip. Think of it like building a football team. You wouldn't put a fragile kicker out there to face a linebacker, right? The same logic applies to plants. You need the tough ones, the cold weather warriors. The Amish know that not every plant can handle the chill, so they opt for hardy varieties that thrive even when temperatures drop. It's like growing a garden of Clint Eastwoods, nothing phases them. Spinach, kale, carrots, and beets are some of the most popular cold weather crops you'll find in Amish greenhouses. These aren't your delicate summer tomatoes. These are the plants that can take a frost on the chin and keep growing. Here's where it gets fun. Plants actually have their own internal defenses. Ever heard of a little thing called frost tolerance? Some plants have built-in mechanisms that make them less susceptible to cold. Take kale, for example. It's one of those crops that actually gets sweeter after a light frost as the plant converts some of its starches into sugar to protect itself. So not only do the Amish get to keep harvesting through the colder months, but their kale comes out tasting even better. Frost might kill your enthusiasm for outdoor activities, but for kale, it's just nature's sweetener. Now, it's not all about just picking cold hardy varieties and hoping for the best. Another trick you can learn from the Amish is planting in succession. This means you stagger your planting so that your crops are always coming in at different times. By doing this, you make sure you have a continuous harvest, even during the colder months. It's a bit like making sure your woodpile is stocked up for winter. You wouldn't want to be left scrambling for firewood in the middle of January, would you? With succession planting, there's always something ready to harvest, keeping the greenhouse productive and the pantry full. The technique of combining cold frames and hotbeds to keep your greenhouse warm is a total steal from the Amish Book of Gardening, and it's something you'll need in the long run if you don't want to depend on expensive heating systems. Cold frames and hotbeds are two simple, low-tech methods that have been used by the Amish for generations to keep plants warm during cold weather. According to the Amish Greenhouse Rulebook, if you place a cold frame on top of a hotbed, you'll maximize heat retention while also protecting plants from the cold air. The hotbed warms the soil from below, and the cold frame traps warmth from the sun above. Cold frames are like mini greenhouses that trap sunlight and hold warmth around your plants. You can build one using a wooden or metal frame and a clear cover made of glass or plastic. The cover lets sunlight in during the day and traps the heat inside, which keeps plants warm even when temperatures outside drop at night. This setup acts like an insulator, maintaining a stable environment for your plants. To make a cold frame at home, all you need are a few simple materials. Some wood for the frame and an old window or a sheet of clear plastic for the top. The key is positioning your cold frame where it will get the most sunlight during the day, usually on the south side of your greenhouse or garden. You can even add straw bales around the sides for extra insulation if needed. Once your cold frame is set up, it's perfect for starting seeds early in the season or keeping cold-hardy crops like spinach, lettuce, or herbs growing through the winter. By using this simple structure, you're essentially creating a protected microclimate that allows your plants to thrive while using minimal resources. Hotbeds are another great heating method that relies on natural decomposition to generate warmth. This technique has been popular for a long time, and it's still used today by those looking for a natural way to heat the soil in their greenhouse. To make a hotbed, you layer manure or compost under the soil. As the organic material breaks down, it releases heat that rises into the soil, creating a warm environment for your plants. You can build your own hotbed by digging a trench about a foot or two deep. Fill the bottom with fresh manure. Horse manure is especially good for this because it generates a lot of heat. Then cover it with a layer of soil. As the manure decomposes, it will create steady warmth that will help keep your plants cozy, even during colder weather. This method is especially useful for early spring planting or extending the growing season in fall and winter. What makes hotbeds even better is that, as the manure breaks down, it enriches the soil with nutrients, acting like a slow-release fertilizer. This means you're not only heating your greenhouse naturally, but you're also improving your soil quality at the same time. Two benefits in one simple setup. Cold frames and hotbeds allow you to harness natural heat sources, sunlight, and decomposing organic matter to create a warm, thriving space for your plants. One of the core beliefs in Amish farming is the idea of sustainability. Did you know over 90% of Amish farms are still family-owned and operated? If that doesn't scream sustainability, I don't know what else would. These guys have been passing down their knowledge of farming from generation to generation, like it's a treasured family recipe. For them, it's not about doing something because it's eco-friendly. It's about doing what works and has worked for generations. These guys aren't subscribing to sustainability magazines or watching documentaries about climate change. They're just living it, day in and day out. It's like the old saying goes, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. The Amish figured out how to heat their greenhouses without electricity a long time ago. And guess what? It still works. You know that one friend who loves to talk about their minimalist lifestyle? You know, the one who tells you they're so enlightened because they Marie Kondoed their whole house and now only owns 2 shirts and a fork. Well, the Amish make those folks look like hoarders. Their entire way of life is built on simplicity. And I'm not talking about the buy everything beige and live in a tiny house kind of simplicity. No, I'm talking about making do with what they have, using it wisely, and never wasting anything. Not because it's trendy, but because it's just the way they've always done things. Their greenhouses are often constructed using materials like wood and glass, built to last without needing a ton of maintenance. And here's where simplicity comes in. Instead of relying on electricity to keep things running, they use natural resources like the sun, wind, and yes, even manure. They've got a system that's as efficient as it is simple. This whole philosophy of working with what you have is kind of like when you're trying to fix something around the house, and instead of buying a new part, you jimmy rig it with duct tape. Except, in the Amish case, their duct tape solution has been perfected over hundreds of years. They aren't cutting corners, they're just using their heads and maybe a little elbow grease. While most of us are out here figuring out how to cut our carbon footprints, the Amish are already living a life that's practically carbon neutral. It's like they've got their own invisible badge of eco-friendliness, without ever having to post about it on Instagram. Basically, the Amish heat their greenhouses with the same philosophy they apply to the rest of their lives. It's simple, it's sustainable, and it works. Heating a greenhouse without electricity might sound like something out of a pioneer survival guide, but the Amish have shown us that it's very possible. The trick is not trying to fight nature, but working with it. Make the most use of sunlight, stack thermal mass like pros, or use compost piles as nature's own heaters. The Amish remind us that you don't need fancy gadgets or high-tech systems to keep your greenhouse cozy, just a bit of know-how and a dash of creativity. So the next time you're staring down the barrel of a cold winter, take a page from the Amish Greenhouse Rulebook. With a few simple techniques, you can keep your plants warm, your greenhouse productive, and yourself smiling. In fact, I'd argue they're even better because, spoiler alert, no electricity means no electric bills.